And now we have changes that will allow us in the next several weeks to take the next step forward into regaining what we consider a much more normal life.
Well, it has been a long road to get here. The indoor mask mandate will soon be no more. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us here for KREM 2 News at 6. I'm Whitney Ward.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Well, this has been a hotly debated topic for many months, in fact, years. So how much longer will masks be required in the state of Washington in places like schools? Today, we finally have that answer. It is March 21st.
After 2 years, the indoor mask mandate is coming to an end in about a month from now. The governor insisting he's making that decision based on the science, he said. In his briefing today, the governor pointed out that while cases are dropping dramatically, hospitalizations remain high across the state. But he says he is confident that by the 21st of March, will be in a position to no longer require masks in most indoor settings. Here's what that means. Masks will no longer be required, at least by the state, in places like public buildings, restaurants, K-12 schools, places of worship, gyms, and grocery stores. However, private businesses can still require masks if they choose to do so. They just won't be required to do so by the state. Today, the governor and the state superintendent of public instruction thanked Washingtonians for getting to this point.
We are in a position to be able to make this progress because people have been careful, have by and large followed our mandates, and have been responsible, and have most Washingtonians have got vaccinated as well. This is what has allowed us to be in this position to reduce these mask mandates.
We had 1.53 million children nationwide were not in in-person learning. From the 5-year-old to the 105-year-old, everybody had a part in a shared responsibility to each other. It involved face covering and distancing and hygiene and in some cases closures. The impacts have been broad, but we also became a state that rapidly addressed this in ways the country was envious of. Half the hospitalization rate per 100,000, half of the loss of life per 100,000.
So now there are going to be exceptions to this announcement today. Masks will still be required in certain settings, and here they are. Healthcare and medical facilities, long-term care settings, public transit, taxis, rideshare vehicles, and school buses, as well as correctional facilities. And again, private businesses as well as local governments like a county could still choose to require masks if they want to or feel like they need to. But after 2 years of restrictions and a lot of heated debate, the end is in sight for that indoor mask mandate. Again, it ends on March 21st. This also means that students at Washington schools will be able to attend classes this spring without a mask. Again, that starts on the 21st.
KREM 2's Ian Smay joins us now to explain what else this means for schools, as well as reaction from local education leaders. Ian?
This means that starting on March 21st, students will no longer be required to wear masks while at school. Masks have been required since students went back to the classroom during the 2020-2021 school year. This means that for the first time since Governor Inslee forced schools to transition to remote learning, kids will be going to class without masks. Additional guidance from the state for schools will come out the week of March 7th. That's in order to give more time for districts to prepare for that transition to optional mask usage. Schools must still report cases and outbreaks to the state, and students and staff still showing COVID-19 symptoms will be required to quarantine. Other requirements that will still be in place include districts making sure that testing is available for students and staff who have symptoms or have been exposed. Michael Dunn is the superintendent of ESD 101, which represents Eastern Washington school districts. He said the announcement is a sign of hope.
While I might personally wish that it was a little bit sooner, I also appreciate that they're likely looking at the modeling of when COVID will really be at a safe enough level. And I think that it is, really pretty close in time.
We also talked to parents at Mullen Road Elementary School when they went to pick up their kids earlier today. We asked them about their thoughts on the news. Here's what one parent had to say.
I was hoping maybe just kind of finish out the year, but so I guess we'll hope, we just kind of hope it goes well. Given the data from other areas that have dropped mask mandates or never had them, I'm not too optimistic about it.
We also received the letter that the Spokane Public Schools District sent to its families. It reads in part, as in the past, we ask that all students and staff follow health and safety protocols. SPS will continue to follow the guidance of public health officials and will provide updates to staff and families whenever changes are made. We also received a statement from the Meade School District. It reads in part, "We understand that this change in how our schools are operating will be met with differing opinions and responses, and we will work with our students and staff to ensure a smooth transition. Overall, the pandemic has taken a toll on our students, and returning to more normalcy will make a positive difference in their social and emotional well-being." Now, one thing to keep in mind is that if a student or staff member still wants to wear a mask for personal reasons, they will still be able to.
Yeah, big announcement today. Ian, thank you very much. Well, the mask mandate is being dropped before two monster events take place right here in Spokane. Right after the mandate is lifted, the arena is hosting the first round of the 2022 NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship starting on March 25th. That same weekend, the 2022 Pacific Northwest Qualifier Volleyball Tournament starts on Saturday, March 26th. The PNQ is the city's largest tourism event of the year.
Now, according to Visit Spokane, the tournament brings in about $12 million in revenue for local businesses, as well as more than 15,000 visitors and 15,750 room nights booked in hotels. The Public Facilities District, which runs the convention center, the arena, and the podium, is expecting today's news will absolutely help ticket sales and bring in more visitors.
The expectation with the mandate going away with the mask mandate, I do expect some of the ticket sales to increase. I think the next increase would be once the vaccine and negative test mandate goes up. But for the most part, it will impact us positively, I do think.
Again, they're definitely looking forward to it, as these will be the first big events after that mask mandate is officially lifted.
And Governor Inslee's announcement was also welcome news to the tourism and hospitality industries right here in Spokane. The large event vaccine requirement is being dropped on March 1st, along again with the mask mandate ending on March 21st.
Now again, Visit Spokane had something to say about it, saying that tourism brought in $1.3 billion to the city in 2019. That dropped to just $886 million in 2020. Kate Hudson is the spokesperson for Visit Spokane. She said the hope is that more events like concerts and conventions will now be able to come back to Spokane. She said also that this is the start of a rebuilding period for local tourism.
Very important, and we're just so thrilled that we'll have a little bit of normalcy, and hopefully we can get back on track and start rebuilding and get back to that $1.3 billion mark instead of the $1 million mark. So.
Again, the announcement comes as Spokane prepares for big events at the end of March. And continuing with our coverage now of this breaking news, the end of the indoor mask mandate will also have a big impact on local businesses.
KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk has been talking to many business owners tonight. And Kyle, what have you learned so far?
Business owners believe this is a step in the right direction. They're simply just tired of enforcing this mask mandate on employees and customers. But other business owners, they're a little more hesitant. They believe this news is coming just a little too early. So as we've been saying, starting on March 21st, you won't be required to wear a mask going to concerts or out to dinner. Beth Bowman, co-owner of Italia Trattoria, says she may still require masks and proof of vaccine cards after the governor's mandate ends. Bowman says it's a confusing time right now because it's hard to predict where we'll be in a month, and she's talked to doctors who are still worried about the strain on the medical community.
Sure. So when I think we'll be comfortable as a restaurant to discontinue the mask mandates is when the medical community has less stress on them. They're more able to handle it. Right now it's still high numbers coming in, even if people are not necessarily dying from it, they're still very sick.
Now, on the other hand, Mark Starr, owner of David's Pizza, says he thinks the governor should have lifted the mandate a month ago. He says his employees are tired of being put in awkward positions asking people to mask up.
It's been really difficult. It's been odd the way people treat each other. My staff doesn't know what to do. Some people are religious about wearing their masks, and of course we're respectful of that, and there's other people that are like, why do we have to put these on? We live in Idaho. Nobody over there masks up. Why do we have to mask up here?
And Starr hopes by lifting the mask mandate, his business will return to where it was back in 2019 before the pandemic. Bowman told us she's actually seen a bump in business by requiring masks and vaccine cards, saying some customers just appreciate those extra safety measures. Reporting live in downtown Spokane, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
All right, Kyle, thank you very much. Governor Inslee, as it turns out, is expected to visit Spokane coming up tomorrow to talk about a variety of topics, including transportation, climate priorities, and affordable housing.
So we know that he will be touring the Division Street corridor, learning more about the $50 million Division Street Bus Rapid Transit project. That's to be funded by the Move Ahead Washington package.
The governor is then meeting with Gonzaga students to talk about climate priorities. He'll then tour the Highland Village Affordable Housing Project in Airway Heights. All right, let's talk weather for a moment here, where the sunshine continued into today, but that's not going to be the case for much longer, at least.
Boy, some of those overnight lows that we've got in the forecast now are not great. Chief Meteorologist Tom Sherry says that we still have a little bit longer before we get there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's not the really cold weather is not going to start until next week, but we are going to pick up some much needed precipitation starting this weekend. In the meantime, it is dry, 41 degrees here in the Spokane area. You can see the wind is out of the south-southwest at 8 miles per hour. Day planner forecast is calling for an overnight low of 30. We'll look for some patchy fog overnight, and then we may see some clearing at times tomorrow, but at other times it'll be mostly cloudy. Generally speaking, I'll say partly cloudy depending on your location. Look for a daytime high of 46. By Saturday afternoon, rain and snow will develop in the Spokane area. Certainly mountain snow that will continue Saturday night into Sunday. Again, I think it's more rain in the valleys and snow in the mountains, and we need it. We'll look for high Sunday of 42. Then it gets cold and dry for part of next week. I have a look at your 10-day forecast coming right up.
Sounds good, Tom. Thank you very much. Well, in other news this evening, many couples over the years have attached padlocks to the pedestrian bridge at People's Park.
Yeah, it's just meant to be kind of a sweet way to express their love, but now all those locks are gone. So KREM 2's Amanda Rowley found out why.
For a few years now, lovebirds would lock down their love on this walking bridge in Peaceful Valley. On any given day, you would see several dozen locks attached right here at Sandifer Memorial Bridge. But one couple on Valentine's Day discovered all the locks had been removed.
While some might shout their love from the rooftops, others may simply make a quiet dedication to it.
Even though it was private and simple, it was something that we were willing to share with the world, you know, that we were in love.
After 2 months of dating, DJ Moon took Rodney Von Hagel to this bridge. She finally found someone worth committing her lock of love to.
I surprised him with a lock in my pocket, and we stuck it on the bridge. It was really cute, sentimental. We walked along, looked at a lot of the other locks.
It really was very special to me that somebody would want to, you know, do something so meaningful and sentimental.
Their love eventually blossomed from a love lock to locking it down.
When did you propose?
On my birthday, actually.
This year they hope to revisit their lock and reminisce, but their hearts broke when they found not a single lock on the bridge.
I was just imagining the fact that someone was getting paid to walk out here, most likely with bolt cutters, and spend their time and cutting them all off.
That someone was actually the city of Spokane.
We certainly are not interested in, crushing the romance of the city.
Spokesperson Kirsten Davis told me the bridge isn't built to hold all this love.
Periodically, we do need to come through and we see locks on those. They're actually cables that are part of the infrastructure of the bridge. And so when we get extra weight on that, that can compromise the integrity. It also can interfere with doing inspections. So it's really about keeping the safety of the bridge.
She says the locks are removed 3 to 4 times a year to keep the bridge safe. These lovebirds aren't convinced of the city's reason for clearing the locks, but they are open to the idea of an alternative way of making a quiet dedication to their love.
And I think that the people should have a chance to put their input on how they feel about the locks being here and work together to find some common ground and a solution.
Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
The bridge wasn't built to handle all that love.
Apparently not.
Right,
the love still exists, though. That's
right,
the good
exactly.
thing out there.
All right, still ahead tonight. An organization is asking the Coeur d'Alene City Council now to take a stand against racism. After the break, we'll explain what sparked that request.